What's your thoughts around the world of entrepreneurship and learning and reading? Do you think that the books you've written your own book as well. Do you think books play a part if you're immersed in the world of entrepreneurship?
Sure, they help. I don't want to say don't read anything, because you certainly can learn a lot from books.
Yeah.
The misconception or the wrong belief is to think that you can learn how to do it from reading a book. And entrepreneurship is the same thing. Yeah. You have to do it. I encourage everyone, don't jump right into some big company. If you have an idea, just try it. And just the little things you learn are the exact same things you'll just do writ large later on.
Being an entrepreneur myself, it's the living with the ambiguity. It's making decisions with no control. Like, it's all the above that actually builds the resilience piece, I guess, is what you're talking about from an entrepreneurship point of view.
Not just the resilience, you have to learn to become comfortable with making decisions when you have no idea in advance what the outcome is going to be. Entrepreneurs are people who are comfortable making decisions based on ambiguous or contradictory or incomplete information. And that's very, very hard for a lot of people. And what entrepreneurs have to do is realize you can take these risks, you can try things, and when they don't work, the world doesn't end. And if anything, the thing that I've gotten good at after doing this for 4 decades is I am completely fearless now.
When does one become comfortable with the failure and the making? You said you had 5 businesses there. Did you fail those before, or how did it all work for you?
But it's not like one business is one swing, and on my 4th swing,
that's right.
It's more that each of those businesses involved 10,000 different decisions. And my first ventures, if you want to call them that, were things I did at the university, where the consequences in the scheme of things were pretty modest. And each time you graduate a little bit, you still have that same feeling of, but you're taking bigger and bigger swings. And so eventually, when you're taking a swing with a company like Netflix, or even bigger swing that I took with Looker, it's the same feeling. It's just a much, much bigger risk.
I've heard a quote, the number 1 hardest thing to do is to start. The number 2 hardest thing to do is to not quit. Do you encourage to continue to strive and continue to learn and continue to iterate and continue to make bad ideas and turn them into good ideas, or do you actually encourage people to walk away when things are just not working?
I get asked that all the time. How do I know when to quit? And the answer is you never quit. You quit when they pry your hands.
That's right.
As the expression goes, you can have my gun when you pry it out of my cold, dead hands.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone realistically who's an entrepreneur who has said, this is too tough, I'm done.
I'm going to walk away.
Things fail, but you're still trying to salvage it up to the very last minute. It really is courage to start and grit to continue.
Correct.
And I'm not saying it's easy to continue, but mustering the courage to continue is different than trying to decide when to quit.
What did you learn about yourself through those early years?
The most important lesson is that I really like this. That's not just a casual observation. It's this feeling that I've found something that fulfills me. And I think most people are constantly searching for this thing. We're fighting against preconceptions of what should fulfill us. The second big realization that was profound was that in some ways it's an addiction that I have to be really careful about, because like an addiction, it can take over your life. What you have to do is say, how do I manage this? How do I become a successful entrepreneur without losing the things that make me whole? My hobbies, or my family, or my friends, those sort of things.
How do you know what's important and what's not?
You realize is that you're doing it because you have the sense that, quote, everything needs to be perfect. And that's the habit to break, is recognizing not everything has to be perfect. It's becoming comfortable with some things not being perfect.
Why do you think were the core reasons Netflix and Looker and all the startups that you've worked with have been successful?
Certainly, I think the culture was a big, big part of Netflix's early success and continued success.
we work with organizations on their culture and constantly believe that the return on investment of in putting time and effort into your culture and growing your culture and creating a high-performing culture, or the culture that you deserve, that the community and client deserves, is one that should be front of mind of every leader. So thank you for sort of just pointing that out. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate you. If anyone wants to follow you, where can they connect with you, follow you, all the above?
So the best place to start is marcrandolph.com, my website, because there you'll find ways to follow me on all my social channels, which I'm actually pretty active on for an old guy.
Yeah.
But also you can find links to my podcast there, my book. I write a blog post once a week. You can get it via email. So that's ground zero for tapping into my verbal river of disjointed thoughts.
Thanks for listening to the podcast all. You can check out the show notes if there was anything of interest to you, and find out more about us at SynergyIQ.com.au. I am going to ask though, if you did like the podcast, it would absolutely mean the world to me if you could subscribe, rate and review. And if you didn't like it, that's all right too. There's no need to do anything. Take care guys, all the best.